This is not a castle, not a king. This is how ordinary people actually lived in England in the year 950. Inside this small wooden house, survival depended on fire, labor, and routine. The gate closes behind you with a dull wooden thud that seems to seal away the modern world entirely. It is the year 950 of our era, and you are standing inside Winchester, one of the most powerful fortified towns in all of Wessex. The air is cool and damp, thick with the lingering scent of wood smoke that never fully leaves this place. Even in daylight, a faint gray haze hangs above the settlement, caught between rooftops of thatch and timber. This is not the clean air of open countryside. This is the breath of a town built for survival. Ahead of you stretches a maze of narrow, earth-packed streets, winding between tightly clustered buildings. Timber walls lean inward, as if seeking support from one another. Roofs sag under layers of straw, darkened by years of rain and smoke. There is no grand symmetry or open planning. Everything here has grown from necessity. Winchester, in this age, is not designed for beauty or comfort. It exists to endure. The fortified burh rises around you like a protective shell. Earthen ramparts crowned with wooden palisades form a defensive ring, separating order from wilderness. Beyond those walls lie forests, marshes, and the constant possibility of danger. Raiders from the sea are less frequent than in past decades, yet the memory of their arrival has not faded. Every gate, every watchpost, every reinforced section of wall reflects a population that understands how quickly peace can vanish. You begin to walk. The ground beneath your feet is uneven and damp, churned by hooves, boots, and cartwheels. In drier seasons, dust rises here, but now the earth holds moisture, clinging to leather footwear and slowing every step. A pig wanders freely across the path, snuffling through refuse discarded from nearby houses. Chickens scatter as a woman steps from a doorway carrying a wooden bucket. She moves quickly, her cloak pulled tight against the chill, focused entirely on the tasks that will fill her day from dawn until darkness. Sound builds gradually rather than erupting. There is no sudden rush of noise. Instead, Winchester awakens with a steady accumulation of activity. A blacksmith's hammer begins its rhythmic strike somewhere ahead. The bellows of his small forge wheeze as they force air into glowing coals. From another direction comes the creak of a cart being pushed over rutted ground. Voices remain low, purposeful, rarely raised without reason. Every movement is shaped by routine, and routine here is the foundation of survival. At the center of the settlement rises the minster. Its stone construction sets it apart immediately from the timber and clay that dominate the town. Even from a distance, its presence anchors everything around it. The church is not merely a place of worship. It is the axis around which life turns. Bells mark the passage of hours more reliably than any clock. Their sound travels across rooftops and along narrow lanes, reminding every inhabitant that time itself belongs to God. Near the minster stands the administrative heart of the town. Royal officials oversee trade, collect taxes, and enforce the king's law. Winchester is not just another settlement. It is a political and economic center, a place where authority is visible in daily transactions. Silver coins bearing the king's image circulate here more frequently than in rural villages, yet barter remains common. A measure of grain exchanged for iron tools, wool traded for salt or pottery. Wealth exists, but it moves slowly, bound to the rhythms of land and labor. As you move deeper into the streets, the closeness of life here becomes impossible to ignore. Houses stand shoulder to shoulder, their walls separated by only narrow gaps. Privacy is nearly non-existent. Sounds travel easily through wattle and daub. The cry of an infant, the murmur of conversation, the crackle of a hearth fire, all blend into a constant background presence. This density creates both security and pressure. Everyone depends on everyone else, yet everyone is also under constant observation. You approach the doorway of a typical Saxon dwelling. The entrance is low, forcing you to bow your head slightly as you step inside. The transition from outdoor light to interior dimness is immediate and disorienting. For a moment, the space appears almost black. Then your eyes adjust, and the interior reveals itself in layers of shadow and firelight. A central hearth burns steadily in a shallow pit on the packed earth floor. There is no chimney. Smoke rises slowly, spreading beneath the roof before escaping through a simple vent in the thatch. The air is thick but breathable, familiar to those who live here. Over time, lungs adapt to this constant presence. Beams overhead are coated in soot, darkened by years of exposure. Strips of meat hang from wooden racks, preserved by the very smoke that stings the eyes. The structure is modest in size, perhaps 30 feet in length and half as wide. Timber posts support walls made from woven branches sealed with clay and straw. The floor is uneven but firm, scattered with rushes that absorb moisture and help mask odors. Furniture is sparse. A rough table stands near the hearth, surrounded by low stools and benches. Wooden chests line one wall, holding clothing, tools, and whatever valuables the family possesses. Every object serves a purpose. Nothing exists purely for decoration. A family occupies this space. Husband, wife, and several children move through the morning routine with practiced efficiency. The wife kneels beside the hearth, coaxing embers into brighter flame with dry kindling. She works quickly, aware that the fire must remain alive. Without it, warmth vanishes, food cannot be prepared, and the entire rhythm of the household falters. Once the flames strengthen, she suspends a small iron cauldron above them, filling it with water and crushed grain. Grinding begins soon after. Using a quern stone, she pushes the upper disc in steady circles, turning barley into coarse flour. The motion is repetitive and demanding, yet performed without complaint. This is the labor that sustains the household. Nearby, a child gathers small pieces of wood, adding them carefully to the growing fire. Another tends to a simple garden plot just outside, where hardy vegetables struggle against the climate. The husband prepares to leave. He fastens a woolen cloak at his shoulder with a simple brooch and lifts tools from a chest. Today he will work beyond the town walls, tending strips of land allocated by custom and obligation. Ownership exists, but it is never absolute. Service to local lords and ultimately to the king shapes every decision. Survival depends not only on personal effort, but on maintaining one's place within a rigid social structure. Clothing throughout the household reflects necessity rather than style. Wool and linen dominate. Colors are muted, derived from natural dyes that fade quickly with use. Garments are layered for warmth, repaired repeatedly, and worn until they can no longer be salvaged. Footwear is simple leather, often damp from constant exposure to mud and moisture. Comfort is secondary. Durability is everything. Meals are modest, but sustaining. The cauldron now holds a thickening mixture of grains and vegetables. Pottage forms the foundation of daily nutrition. Leeks, beans, cabbage, and herbs gathered from nearby plots provide flavor. Meat appears rarely, reserved for special occasions, or preserved carefully after seasonal slaughter. Ale accompanies most meals, safer than untreated water. Food is shared from common bowls, each person eating with a wooden spoon. There is little ceremony. Eating is an act of necessity, completed efficiently before work resumes. Sleeping arrangements occupy the warmest area near the hearth. Raised platforms covered with straw and wool serve as beds. Entire families rest together, drawing warmth from proximity. Clothing remains on during sleep. Nights can be bitterly cold, and maintaining body heat is essential. Darkness inside the dwelling becomes nearly complete once the fire burns low, broken only by faint red embers that pulse softly in the center of the room. Outside, Winchester continues its steady rhythm. Market days bring increased activity as traders from surrounding lands enter through the gates with goods to exchange. Craftsmen produce tools essential for agriculture and defense. Monks within the minster copy texts by hand, preserving law, scripture, and knowledge. Bells mark each passing hour, reinforcing a structure that binds the entire community together. Faith permeates every action. Morning and evening prayers frame the day. Small crosses hang near entrances, believed to guard against misfortune. Sermons delivered within the stone walls of the minster emphasize obedience and humility. The concept of sin is ever present, shaping behavior through both fear and hope. In a world where illness, famine, or violence can strike without warning, spiritual reassurance provides a form of stability that physical structures alone cannot offer. As evening approaches, activity slows but does not cease. Tools are repaired by firelight. Wool is spun into thread. Stories are exchanged quietly, reinforcing shared identity and memory. Beyond the walls, darkness settles across the surrounding countryside. Within them, fires glow softly through narrow openings, each one marking a household enduring another day. Here, in Winchester of 950, life is defined not by comfort or freedom of choice, but by endurance, cooperation, and unwavering routine. Within timber walls and beneath thatched roofs, generations persist through discipline and faith, shaping a society that survives not through ease, but through relentless continuity.